Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker in the Netherlands. Well, there we go, Buren Grand Prix. Usually this is live, but I've got one Tuesday evening off with my girlfriend. We go to Belgium, to Knokke, to a special photo exhibition. So pre-recorded, this is one day before transmission. And here on the case back it is 7/6/1957. And there it's a 14 karat gold case back, or case. And usually in a gold watch there is never a simple movement or dull movement. So here are inverted pins. Don't see them too often. Lovely, fancy looks. I think Buren is an overseen watch brand. It is beautiful. Well, the crystal is missing and the hour hand. And in a moment we'll have a look on the dial, but I think some pieces of paint are missing. So let's see what we can do about it. And the numbers used to be shiny. Do you see that? The crown, and there the movement. Buren Grand Prix. And it says on the case back 1957. And well, we see an Inca block spring there, so that is after 1948. And we see screws on the balance wheel, and that is roughly that stopped after 1955. So it could well be it's been produced 1955, just 1957, and it's sold in 1957. So complete period. Well, visual inspection, there is a screw missing. And probably some more going on. Well, let's have a look. Oh, and if we see the dial is larger in diameter than the movement. Do you see that? So maybe it comes out from the front, or it comes out with that ring. We'll have to see. Lovely project. There we go. Well, let's have a look under the microscope. I promised an Jaeger LeCoultre, GG LeCoultre triple date for tonight. But and I did the stream, pre-recorded the stream, and it turned out to be for a large part replica from, I think, somewhere between the 60s and the 70s. So a very old replica. Well done from the outside. Not so well done when I did when it removed the dial. So there was a very short a very short stream, because I wanted to contact the owner before we continue and put in the hours. So maybe I release the stream, but it was pretty short. At the moment that is the camera, and you're watching with me through my microscope. And as I just said before, if you just joined, this is a pre-recorded stream. Today it is yesterday. because we are in Belgium for a 2-day break. What do we see? Many fingerprints on the movement. Bit unusual. The setting lever screw could have treated better, but overall in a moment you'll see this looks like 3 different cocks, but as you see in between there, it is just one part, but beautifully made, so elegant. This and this is milled out and this is milled out, but in a moment you'll see this is just one part. I'm pretty sure of that. So much effort just to make it look pretty. It's beautiful. I cannot put it down because then I'll touch the hands, but what do we see? Buren Grand Prix. Yeah, and this is just the paint coming off from the dial, so there's not too much we can do about it. This looks like varnish. No, that's just the paint being gone. Yeah. Lovely design. That I think the dial is glass bead blasted. Let's have a look. You don't see this too often. There. The dial is glass bead or maybe sandblasted, and underneath they made a mask for the numbers. This is quite rare. And I must say, an inspiration for our own watch, because the dial is incredibly flat, because you don't need the raised markers. And now we look under the microscope. Hey, I see some red in there. Well, the previous watchmaker had a blue woolly jumper on. Yeah, but the markers, this is just about the flattest you can get. And do you see, oh, that's interesting. That's just me being a freak. You see here in the 8 there, the line, that is the tiniest scratch during production, making of the dial. And because the rest is sandblasted, painted and sandblasted, you don't see it anymore. Interesting. Hey, those pips used to be red. That is where the red is coming from. Ah. Never seen it visually. Just now under the microscope. The lower ones were red. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of red in there. And there. Oh well. So. Hey, now the hands are touching. And the watch stopped. And if I do this, it starts running again. So the hour hand has been broken, and the minute hand is way too low. Well, first things first, I think I remove the hands. Why not? And it is incredibly low. Look at that, there is hardly any space. Okay, the hand is a bit like this, but the base where it is on the pivot, it is incredibly close to the dial. Look at that. And now it's coming into focus. And you can see underneath the hand there's so much dust and gunk and even there. So it's been open without a crystal for quite some time. So I'm sure we can clean the plate just a bit more, but never get it spot on, restore it. So let's see, plop, plop, there in focus. Use a bit of latex. If you just joined, sorry I can't say hello. Oh, let's do it like this. There. And that one, that's the broken hour hand and the minute hand. Sorry I can't say hello, but I'm on a one night holiday in Belgium. Knokke. My girlfriend is a professional photographer and we're going to see an exhibition. There. The carbon tip tweezers, because I'm so close to the dial, I don't want to make any marks. Still fascinated about the red dots, and all the red is gone. That is just unfeasible that all the red has just come out the dial. That is never by using the watch. Never. There's definitely traces. So it just looks like somebody put in the effort to remove the red dots. Well, I'm going to do some homework to see how it was, how it should be. Well, now turn it over, because I can put it down because the pivot is sticking out. Maybe I can show you now. There. So I cannot put it flat, and it is a gold case, so I don't want to clamp it. Simply, I need 3 hands for this. I look like this. Here we have a cushion, and maybe you can see the dent in the middle here. That should be like this. See? There. So if I put it down, it's incredibly soft, doesn't scratch. And the pivot is going into the hole, if you know what I mean. And now I can remove the power from the mainspring. A piece of packwood, there we go. There, the click. There we go. And the movement stops. We're not working on a grenade anymore. So, no need anymore for the winding stem. And this is always a nice indicator about the condition of a watch. Sometimes it's drowning in oil. Sometimes it completely, like now. Well, we are used to the cow Rolex, so nothing scares us anymore. But we might find some rust or some water damage along the way. Well, remove the case spring, case screw. And then we'll find if the movement comes out from the front or from the back. It is on top of this ring here. So that usually says it comes out from the front because it's preventing from moving down. But I'm not sure about the ring. With the ring it can come out from the front. So let's see. Boom, boom, boom. The dial is underneath the case, so with extra finger cut I can push it down. These finger cuts, called finger condoms as well, prevent the salts and the acids from my fingers to touch the dial and movement, because that etches into the paint or the metal, leaves marks. That's just horrible. If you touch watches, well, I am right-handed, so that is where the tools are. So usually you don't use finger cuts on your tool hand. You just miss the feeling, Fingerspitzengefühl, with your tools. But on the hand that is holding the movement, you always have 3 finger cuts, and 2 fingers are just for stability. So you don't need 5. 2 are for stability, and the 3 you can do anything and manipulate the movement without leaving the marks. If you want to buy them and you don't have the access to a wholesale, just go to your local chemist, ask for finger cuts, finger condoms, and they are probably cheaper than the wholesale. So that is always an option. As I just showed, the dial is underneath the case, so it cannot come out from the front, so it must come out from the back, because there is no lunette, bezel, so this is just one case, so it must come out from the back. Here you can loosen the ring. Let's try that. Well, this is just... wonder what that is. Well, concentrate for a moment. We are on our way. You see, there's a bit of space between the case and the dial. There we go. That is what we like. Here. So the ring came out with the movements. Excellent. There is a hallmark for the gold. So the whole watch is gold, 14 karat. And we can polish this into perfection. We love watches like this. I promise I make an end result film of this because it's going to be nice. Well, no extra marks on the movement, but now the ring. With this ring in place, we cannot reach the dial feed screws. So with my nail in between, oh well, that didn't take any effort. So now there's one dial screw. Ooh, already rusted. Oh, does it come loose? Well, as you probably know, I don't do any work up front. So for me it's an adventure as well. I'm so happy. It would be way too boring if I know what to expect. There. There we are. Pointy tip. There is some rust. Ooh, what will we find underneath the dial? A dial feed screw missing. Or broken. What do you think? It's broken. Yeah. And now? So there is the one, oh, that's the hole for the winding stem. That is the one removed. And the other side is broken. That is going to be, ooh, so hard to remove. We are extremely lucky. I think. Yeah, there's some. There we are. Here you can see what I've done. A dial feed is incredibly soft, usually copper. So with my nail, so I don't make any scratches, soft material, I pulled it down. You can see that the dial feed screw made a bit of a, well, it's probably still sticking out. But the dial is in one piece. And now, always exciting. Oh, there it is. Do you see? The dial feed screw is still sticking out. That pointy bit there. And there no. Okay, next step. The next step usually is espresso. Oh, cheers everybody. So glad that you're here, and sorry I cannot be there live. So today is yesterday. A pre-recorded session. Well, already took some hurdles. It is rusty, but not horrible yet. Some staining on the brass. Well, the setting lever spring. Hey, do you see? Oh, look at that. That's interesting. I'll show you. Get it in focus. It is a bit iffy looking setting lever screw. But, and this is an excellent clue, here you see pitting. Do you see the small black dots that are holes due to rust, eating away, rusting. And then you see some scraping. So they, and probably just with a screwdriver. So the watch has been repaired after the first time there was rust. Do you see here? Oh, there, some scraping. So the setting lever screw was already, well, de-rusted. Or there was rust twice, because the winding stem was still very rusty. But there was already a watchmaker removing some rust. Oh, and this is interesting, I think. Do you see this? Oh, that might be some grease. I thought because the yoke, that is this bit, is made of brass, it cannot rust. Is it? Yeah. And this piece is steel that can rust. So I thought this rust was transferred to the yoke, but I think it's grease, so nothing to worry about. Well, while I'm here, I'm going to remove these pieces and then worry about the movement itself. Because everything here is just driving the hands. It's got nothing to do with timing, running of the watch. Well, okay, if this is going, is there some friction, the amplitude will go down. But if this just moves freely and there's not too much that can affect it, this is just driving the hands, but got nothing to do with the running of the watch. Too big. What do you think as from Buren as a brand? Do you have any good stories about it. For me, it's a real dad watch. A watch, well, this one from the 50s, that you buy for life. Just a one watch and you wear the rest of your life. Have it maintained, keep good care of it. Here. Maybe it's visible. There. Interesting. Well, this is a steel part because it's a spring where I'm holding it. So this is always a steel part, not brass. Now be very careful with the spring because it can easily join the Swiss space program. Time flies, so do watch parts. It's a chapter in my book. And you don't want to see me on my knees for half an hour looking for the spring. Well, maybe some do. So, the yoke, the winding pinion, not too rusty. It's interesting. The sliding pinion, no rust at all. Again, interesting. That comes in a moment. The setting lever, which probably is cleaned as well, just a bit. Here. That looks a bit manky. Oh, do you see the scraping? So I go for the twice rust theory. There was some rust, you see the scraping, it's been cleaned, and after that there's rust again. And this is the best way I can show you. There. Do you see the scraping underneath the new rust? And there. There's no way it's cleaned like this. Yeah. And there you see some pitting as well. There. Interesting. 2 times offender. Well, once we restore it, it will be perfect again, but 3 times you're out. Then here, just release the, even kijken, daar, setting lever spring. There it is. Oh, there's some scraping on the bottom as well, and huge pitting. Yeah, you can see the scraping marks of the previous watchmaker. And the new rust formed there. Yep. Well, I use this one again, the 15A demand usually a cutter for small springs, and then I remove the cannon pinion, but always a but. Remember, there is a decentralized second hand, so we have to be extremely careful for that tiny pinion that breaks like this. And this part is friction fit, that we have to remove. So that one underneath, and just like this. And there, this part, the cannon pinion, was friction fit in here. Simply lift it off. And again, without leaving marks or breaking the pinion over there. So we are ready on this one, because I want the balance wheel to be moving freely. So I leave the shock system spring Inca block in place for this moment, but I don't want to leave it flat on the other side, because then we'll break that tiny pivot. So I use this Belgium one, but we're not sponsored in any way, so use another brand if that's what you like. But it grips the sides without stressing the pivots. There we are. Simple like that. You can see it is raised. Do you see that? And maybe you see there in the middle that the pivot is completely free. Maybe I can show you like this. There we are, the two pivots. And it's like this. So you never do it on the bottom, never there, but always there. Otherwise you can damage the movement. Yeah, we don't want that. So there's the balance wheel moving freely, looking good. The caliber number is underneath. The power is from the mainspring. Check, triple check, otherwise you are working on a grenade. And hammer time is involved. Hammer time is a term we use here on the channel to reduce a hole size. If you're interested, please have a look. There are, I think, 600 videos and many for free. With all the procedures how you repair a watch. Including hammer time, and I hope that's helpful. So, lovely finishing of the ratchet wheel. Beautiful sunburst, zonnesleeve, and there on the sides, beautiful polishing, black polish, and then the engraving, Buren Grand Prix. Beautiful. And this is a mark of excellence, I think. You see the blue underneath, lovely detail. That is not because it looks good, but this is a steel, carbon steel part. And because there is so much power and force on this ratchet wheel with the click, it needs to be heat treated. If it's too hard, all the teeth will break. If it's too soft, all the teeth will deform, like a bit like this. So the best heat treatment is to slowly raise the temperature. You do it on a bed of brass filing, very fine, and then you control the temperature, make it hot, make it hot, with this one. It's just a creme brulee burner, but works a treat. And so you make it incredibly hot and dip it in oil. Then it's hard as glass and breakable. And then leave it for a moment and then make it warm again in a bed of brass filings, raise the temperature, and you can see the part changing color. And that is a reaction from oxygen in the air and the carbon steel part. And the color changes with every 20 degrees Celsius. It is that close. So I think, from the top of my head, I think it's about 380 degrees to 420, just about. You can look it up. Somewhere in that range is this perfect blue, and then it's tempered, the steel, and then it's the perfect balance between malleable and not too hard and that it breaks. And so that's why blued screws, the exact same thing, not because blue looks nice, it is a sign that the carbon steel parts are tempered, heat treated to perfection. That is the origin of the blue screws. I'll try to make a stream. Well, we're a bit busy with the cow Rolex at the moment, but maybe in a month, because late September we are returning the cow Rolex to England, to the Steele family. So this is a sign of excellence. And that is why the letters are so contrast, because it is milled out when it was still soft, and then heat treated, and then polished, because the harder the material, the better it's polished, polishable, and then the zonnesleeve in the end. It takes so much effort to make an excellent ratchet wheel. It is insane. It really is. I can touch it with my titanium tweezer because it's so hard, but well, let's do it with my carbon tip tweezer. This is top quality. Well, we're referring to hammer time. This is just wear from winding, just from winding, because if the movement runs, then this arbor is stationary, stands still. But only if it's wound, then this one revolves, and there is so much tension on the ratchet wheel I just removed. Then it's moving that way, and then you get a hole. And you can see the wheel underneath there. In a moment it will all make sense, but that is the real problem. that the main barrel is moving like this and touching. Here, if you are or want to work on watches yourself, you see 3 lines. That is a left-handed thread. So you have to turn the other way to loosen the screw. Because if you're winding, wind, it'll move like this. And if it moves like this, a normal screw head would unscrew itself. So this winding wheel, always, if there's one in the middle, there is always left-handed thread. So you have to turn the other way to loosen it, like this. Simply, it's all logic, so it doesn't unscrew itself during winding. If there are 2 screw heads side by side, they won't unscrew themselves, so that is normal thread. So only if it's in the middle, you have to turn the other way. There we are. Another beautifully made part. It is a high quality movement, definitely. And here a steel bearing, so it doesn't wear out too fast. So remove the balance wheel. Such an enjoyable movement, really love it. It is just a hand wound, but when it's clean, it looks beautiful and it is so high quality. What I'm holding now is a Rodico. It is like putty, like blue tack, and it is just a bit sticky, and well, you can hold tiny parts with that. It is a bit controversial, especially in Switzerland. Many okay, I'm running into a minefield, so slowly. Many factories say they don't use it, and I know for a fact in Switzerland that many watchmakers, even for the big factories, have it somewhere stashed. But at least they say they don't use it. Oh, now due to the talking, I'm removing these screws for the next part, this huge bridge, but I didn't remove the balance cock yet. When I'm in between with my tweezer, I'm trying to grab the balance wheel as well, like this. Not too much stress, you're not pushing too hard, and there's nothing wrong with the pivots. Well, there's the caliber number, 381. Caliber is the model of movement. So the brand is Buren and the model is 381. There we have the banking pins. Nice and shiny and there. These two pins are hardly visible. Again, you're watching with me through my microscope. But the tips, beautifully milled, are symmetrical. Well done. It's beautiful. Yeah. Those scratches are so unnecessary. Oh well. This screw is really short. See if I can get underneath. There. Oh, that's what I like to show. There you can see the piece, and there is just a bit milled out. There you can lever it up, scoop it up, and that is designed for maintenance, so it can run for hundreds of years if well maintained and not put in water. So that is where you there just scoop it up gently. Again, not leaving marks, that would be horrible. Come up. There we are. Sometimes the centering pins are in the part, and sometimes they're on the movement. Well, pellet fork, glass beaded. And now, hey, look at that. It takes some force, some friction in the gear train. And what I like to do, well, maybe you've seen me do it before, is the back and forth test here. Looking good. I go back and forth, so the rotating direction is moving. If the pivot, that one, and that one, the axle, we call it the pivot. If it's moving that way, like this in the hole, there's way too much wear. It is thinner and maybe sometimes mushroom shaped, but looking good. There is something going on underneath here. Do you see those dents? That is not usual. But then again, 1957. Did Elvis have a hit already? Beatles weren't called Beatles. think there weren't a quarryman even in 56 or 57. Well, because there is a screw on this side and that side, this is called a bridge. And this on a screw on one side looks like a cock, but in this specific, this is just one part, but you see in a minute. It's just decoration and it's just beautiful and elegant. There. Again, some scraping for rust. And the hole where I on it, well, maybe you can see this hole isn't round anymore. Maybe you can see it from the milling marks. Just a bit oval. So we have to make that a bit smaller. Remember this, the hammer time. So that is the because where I'm holding it, the arbor, that is steel as well. So it can be that here's some rust. Yeah. Oh, and a lot of, oh wow, a lot of space. Oh, if it's just beginning to rust, there you can see the pitting on the side. That has to be so clean and shiny. Otherwise, if there's rust, it is just grinding. Here, just holding it. This is tweezer number 8 and I use it every single day. Here's way too much play. No, and just opened it by pushing there. Now you can see the lid opening and some rust specks. What will we find? Again, if you just joined, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker in the Netherlands. Guten Abend, mijn Deutsche Freunde who see me in the Stern magazine. Pre-recorded session because I'm just 2 days away, one night, with my girlfriend to a special photo exposition in Knokke, Belgium. And here we see this is definitely not a spring from the 50s, so somewhere along the way, and this is a good thing, the spring already been replaced with modern alloy instead of the blued steel part. Even if we do restoration, in a moment, just to explain what I'm doing. There you can see a hook in the arbor, and the hook is pulling the spring this way. In a moment you see it better. there. On the end there is this bit, there you see a ridge, there it's straight, there it's curved, and there it's straight. So it's pulling that way, and this small ridge is stopping the spring. So it's pulling that way. So to release this, well, it is rusted arbor, just rotate it this way against the spring, and then it releases. I would like a bit of grip, so there we go. Not too much hassle. Here's the arbor, and this is one of the most difficult parts to make in a watch. This got so many functions. There you see the hook on the inside, there's the flat side, there round. Just to make this is, all the dimensions have to be spot on. This is even more difficult than a balance staff. I really do mean that. And there you can see the rust on this side. Well, simply to take out the spring. It's a bit difficult with a finger cut, so I usually do it with, I will do it without, because you miss the Fingerspitzengefühl. There. It has to be cleaned, so the acid from my fingers is here just, well, it'll be in the cleaning machine within half an hour or so. I hold it like this. My fingers are overlapping the there. My fingers are overlapping the barrel, and here I just took the inside, pull it out, and now you can see I have control over the spring, and you can unwind it one by one by one. If you don't do it like this, even if you're working on the first floor, the spring can be in your basement somewhere. Time flies, so do watch parts. There is a curve, and that is for the middle of the day, so it remains a nice and steady force pushing against the gear train. I think there is how to repair a mainspring on our YouTube channel, Chronoglide. Please have a look if you want to have a bit more. Here you can see the hook on the side of the barrel, and that hook is catching that small ridge. Let me see. There. You can see it's milled out. And there it's a slight curve. Sorry about the focus, you see. And on the other side there's a ridge. There. So this is flat, and they're not. So the hook is catching the outside right there. So only the gear train, nothing left except the gear train, well, and the setting lever screw. There. So it isn't moving freely, so there's, you see it stops really sudden. Click. And because there's so much weight, usually if it's clean and the pivots are okay, then it moves, it stops very slowly. So there's no lubrication. Well, as I predicted, it looks like 3 different pieces, but it's just only one. Pretty sure of that. You can see it is one part and only the top is milled out. And the only reason is to make it look good. No other reason. It takes so much effort with the milling, the anglage, the sides. There. Do you see the sides are curved? There. That is so much work. And no functional use. I love the silliness of watchmaking. There. One. Hey, is that a broken screw? Hey, what? That's strange. That screw is only there for show. You can see even the print. You can see a small point. And there you can see the small point. I'll show you. That is even... That is just for show. No function. Wow. Look at this. It's just the one part with rust. Hey, that's interesting. I think we already found why the gear train wasn't running too smooth. Do you see the top and the bottom jewel, ruby, shiny in the reflection, and the middle one isn't? And then I turn a bit more, and now the middle one is shiny as well. So they are not in one plane, just like a mirror. I think the middle one is slightly lopsided. Otherwise the reflection would be in the same time. Just a bit. You can even see it. I love it when a plane comes together. Look at this. For you, the left side is higher than the right side. I'll try to get it in focus. It is the tiniest of tiniest, but it really is there. And it will cause problems. There's the middle one. That one is exactly flat. And then the middle one you can see on the left side the side is sticking out, and on the right side it isn't. There. That isn't straight. Ah, beautiful. Not a problem solved. Well, going to be solved anyway. Just that reflection test tells you so much what is going on. But now the middle screw, do you remember the dent? There. That is the impression of the middle screw with no function whatsoever, just to make it look nice. Beautiful. Such an enjoyable stream. And so nice to share it with you guys. Well, pivots are okay. These pivots are okay. Yeah. A bit dirty with old lubrication. You can see it in the bottom. There's no problem. The next one has got a longer pivot on the other side. Remember the decentralized second hand? And some gunk on the top. There, the longer pivot. Doesn't look too bad, except for the fibers and the gunk that shouldn't be there. And now the escape wheel. There we are. Pivots are okay. We have to clean that one. Because it's a steel part, there's a slight rust issue. Well, and that's it. What an enjoyable stream. What a lovely watch to work on. A lot to do. The small dots in the dial, cleaning the dial, polishing the case, and we can polish that beautifully. And remember the inscription, 1957. No, that's you. Do it like this, different camera, the wobbly cam. 3, 2, 1. Plop. There's the inscription 7657. That has to be remained. That is so part of the watch. So with a felt tip marker we already do that. It's gold, it's not gonna leave marks. You can remove it with some alcohol, but now we know even if we start polishing, that has to remain. That is so important. We have to look for an hour hand. We make sure the holes for the barrel is a bit smaller. Of course, clean all the parts. And have to make that the middle jewel is straight. Easy peasy. No, it isn't. Even a hand wound watch can give a professional watchmaker, headaches, definitely. So thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for allowing me on your screen. Usually this is live, now it was pre-recorded. Next time I will be answering your questions and greeting you, all the lovely returning viewers. So enjoy your evening and hope to see you soon. See ya. Bye bye.